All right, class. Here's your teacher, Mrs. Frisbee. It's a book character day at school. That's why I am dressed this way. So today we are practicing something that you might see something similar to on iLearn. So we like to practice this so you're not overwhelmed when you see it on the test. It won't be for a grade, but you do have to complete it and turn it in for participation points. So, pencils ready? Everybody ready to go? All right, name should be at the top. And this is all called colorful walls. All right, so first thing, it says Randy is painting a room in his house. One wall will be blue. Okay, does that seem like it might be important since we're talking about colorful walls? Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and underline that. One wall will be blue, one wall will be red, and two walls will be yellow. Okay, so one is blue, one is red, and two are yellow. The first thing my brain wants me to do, I've told you, I don't like doing math out of a big problem. I'm going to write my information to the side. So I would like you to do this with me. It might help you out. So one wall blue. So I'm going to put 1W blue. One wall red. 1W red. Two walls yellow. 2W yellow. So now as I do my problem, every time I want to know that information, I don't have to look through this and maybe make a silly mistake. Okay? So some of you haven't written anything down yet. I'm going to wait till that happens. If you do that again, you're going to pay a fine. Hopefully you at home are following along without so many reminders. And thank you those of you that are ready, and thank you for your patience while our other classmates decide to join us. All right. So first question, can someone read me number 1? Hayden?
What fraction of the walls will be red?
All right, what fraction of the walls will be red? We're really good at fractions. We've worked really hard on them. First, I want to know, what will my denominator be? How many walls are we painting total? Zoe?
4.
4. Nice job. So our denominator is a 4 because there are 4 walls. Now, what will our numerator be to show the fraction of the walls that are red? Emma?
1.
1. Because we know that one wall is red. So 1/4 will be red. Question so far. That wasn't so bad. Angie?
How did you get the 4?
Well, how many walls do we have total? Does that make sense? 4 walls? Okay. So we just had to count. We know he's painting 1, 2, 3, 4 walls. So out of the 4 walls, 1 will be red. All right, do I have a reader for number 2? Madeline?
But Miss here, they're all the same because there's one of each. But then how do we only have one red? We have one blue and one yellow. So
Check your yellows. How many yellows should we have?
2.
2. So we have 2 yellow walls, 1 red wall, and 1 blue wall. So how many walls total?
4.
4. Right? So that's why we got our 4. So you had said there was 1 yellow wall, but we have 2 yellows. So that's why it's out of 4. Okay? Liam?
This might take a lot of work for them.
Who?
The painters.
Oh, the painters? Yeah. All right. Do I have a reader for number 2? You're at the last one. Noah, nice and loud.
It takes from 3 minutes. Sorry.
That's
It
all right.
takes Randy 30 minutes to paint one wall. He started painting at 5 and stopped at 6:15 to eat dinner. If each wall takes the same amount of time, how many walls was he able to paint in that time?
Okay. So we need to mark up our question first. What do you think is important out of our problem? Hayden, give me one thing.
Randy took 30 minutes to paint one wall.
All right. It takes him 30 minutes to paint 1 wall. I'm going to circle that. And I'm also going to write 1 wall equals 30 minutes because I like to see my information written out like that more than in a paragraph. And I assume a lot of you might be like me. All right? People in the back, you with me? Get your pencils out. We're writing. All right. What's the next thing that's important? What do we think? Liam?
Each one takes a amount of time.
Each one takes the same amount of time. Okay? So it doesn't matter which wall. Every wall takes 30 minutes to paint. What else is important? Because we're missing one important bit of information here. I'll let you guys read it through and think it over. Cadence? All right, we do need the question in a box. How many walls was he able to paint in that time? All right, well, what about time? We didn't write anything down about that. Abby?
He started painting at 5 and
stopped at 6.
All right, so he started at 5 and stopped at 6:15. So you know we're going to write that down next, okay? So pencils in your hand. 5 o'clock was when he started. So we can just put start. He ended, so end, at 6:15. And our question, how many walls was he able to paint in that time? So we really kind of have to think it through in a couple ways, but what's one way we can start thinking through how to solve our problem? Cadence? Okay, so if we had our total amount of time, we could subtract out 30-minute chunks to see how many. That's a great strategy. Liam?
I know it.
All right, well, tell me what you're going to do to solve. What did you think about first?
Look at, like, how much hours have passed and how much minutes have passed.
Okay, so we need to know how much time has passed. That is definitely our first step. So between 5 and 6:15, I need to know how much time that is. How much total time? And you can tell me in hours and then leftover minutes. Madeline?
Is it 1 minute and 15? 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yep, because from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock is 1 hour, right? And then we have 15 more minutes. So he had 1 hour and 15 minutes total. So we have 1 hour and 15 minutes. Each wall takes 30 minutes, and they wanted to know how many walls was he able to paint in that time. Well, now what do we do? Hayden?
Add all the 30 minutes to see how much more minutes would be an hour.
Okay. So how many chunks of 30 minutes do we need to have an hour? Chloe? 2. So if I used 2 half hours, that would be 2 walls. I'm going to take an hour off my time. I've only got 15 minutes left. Can he paint another wall in 15 minutes? No. It takes a half hour. So how many total walls was he able to paint? Cadence? 2. And if I want to be really, really clear in my answer, could I say he was able to paint 2 walls completely and part of another wall?
Yeah.
You could even say half of another wall, okay?
2 1/2.
So however you want to answer, you can choose your own words, but you can look up here if you need a place to start. So he painted 2 walls.
I said
Hold on a minute. Shh. And I'm going to put down here and half of another. Hayden.
I said 2 wall, half one. Like half of another one.
Okay, 2 walls and half of another. Lamb?
I said 2W and 1/2.
Okay. If this was an actual test, you'd be more clear with your labels, right? Okay. I'm fine with shortening stuff when we practice, but you've got to write it out like this if you do a test or anything like that. All right. I'm going to go scroll up my screen, and you all can start previewing number 3 and thinking about what we'll have to do. All right. Let me get this all erased, and then we'll be ready for number 3. Okay, number 3. Do I have a reader? Liam, nice and loud.
The paint store is having a sale on paints. Each color comes in 1 gallon containers that cost $12. 3/8 of a gallon of paint is needed to paint each wall. Randy has $40 to spend on paint.
All right. Now our question down here, will he have enough money? So we're just going to have to say yes or no, but we have to say why, okay? So first of all, we need to mark up our problem. So pencils in hand. Let's do it. All right, the paint store is having a sale on paint. Do I need to know that for any reason?
No.
No. Each color comes in 1 gallon containers. Probably important, okay? So each color comes in 1 gallon, and they cost $12 each, which I will tell you is very cheap paint. Paint is way more expensive than you think.
It's like $30.
Okay. 3/8 of a gallon of paint is needed to paint each wall. That's important. And he has $40. All right, so everything like that should be circled on your paper just like mine. All right, and our question, we're going to put that in a box. Will he have enough money? Okay. If you're like me, we need to start writing some stuff down because it's too confusing to read it. Cadence, what are you thinking? You think he can? All right, well, we got to solve it first in a way that shows math. Hayden, what do you think we ought to write in our workspace to get started?
12 plus 12 is 24, so 24 plus another 24 is something.
Okay, well first, before we even get to that, because my brain doesn't work that fast, each color comes in 1 gallon. So 1 gallon is $12. So I'm going to put 1 gal per gallon equals $12. And we did circle that 3/8 of a gallon is needed to paint each wall. So we need 3/8 of gallon. I'll write gallons so we don't get mixed up. Per wall. He has $40. So I know some of you do this with me every single time I do it. I think you will be more successful on story problems. They are hard, okay? You can ask any adult. The worst part of math is always story problems. But if you can write it down so it's not in the story anymore, that's when I think I can get it better. So make sure you've written this down. Madeline?
Wait, hold on. Wait, never mind.
Okay. So first thing we need to think about are the gallons. Now, it says that each color comes in 1 gallon. But we only need to use 3/8 of a gallon. So here's where it's tricky. Even though the red paint, we only paint 1 wall red, he still has to buy a whole gallon of red paint, right? You can't just say, I only want 3/8 of that gallon. Pour me a little bit out, and I'm just going to buy what I need. You keep the other, right? That's not how it works. So we need 1 gallon of red paint, right? Because there's 1 red wall. So I'm going to say 1 gallon red. All right, what other wall are we only painting, or what other color are we only using on 1 wall? Abby?
Blue.
Blue. So we're going to have to buy 1 gallon of blue. Okay. How many gallons of yellow? Think this through very carefully. Remember that 3/8 of a gallon is what we need for a wall. So we really need to think, for 2 yellow walls, do we have enough paint? Hayden?
Well, you need 2 gallons.
Let's think it through. So if I have 1 gallon of yellow, let's write that first. I need 2 walls though. So this is when this one gets tricky. And this one's hard, so make sure your pencils are still in your hand. We only need 3/8 of a gallon to paint a wall. So if I have 2 walls, I've got 3/8 plus 3/8. And as long as that's within the gallon, it'll work. That equals 6/8. So do I have enough paint in 1 gallon to do both yellow walls? Yeah, I still will have a little bit of paint left over. So total, how many gallons of paint do I have to buy? Angie?
6/8.
Well, we need 6/8 of a gallon for our yellow paint, okay? So that'll fit in 1 gallon. So we have 1 gallon of yellow, 1 gallon of blue, 1 gallon of red. How many total gallons? Josiah?
1.
Well, we have to buy the different colors. That's why it gets complicated. So do we have to buy 3 gallons of paint?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So altogether, we're going to need 3 gallons. Okay, so now we're about ready to answer that question. Will we have enough money? Well, 3 gallons of paint costs how many each gallon? 12. So 12 times 3, what are we going to get? 12 times 3, Hayden?
36.
36. I'll pause just a minute for people to catch up writing. Your only grade on this is just to make sure you wrote down what I asked you to write. That's it. That's fine. All right, so we know it's going to cost $36 to buy 3 gallons of paint. Will he have enough money? We wrote down what he's got. Madeline, will he have enough?
I don't know, but I can't really see.
Okay, you can move up here. Move up here. All right, someone tell me, does he have enough money? Zoe?
Yes.
Yes, he does, and he's got $4 left over, so he could go buy some ice cream or something. So, great day for whoever this, Randy. Yes, he has enough money. Now we need to explain how we know, okay? We just walked through the whole process. We can explain it in words. I know this part's hard. What did we do first thing? After we looked at the problem and figured out what we need to solve, what did we do first? Emma?
We wrote down everything.
Okay, so we wrote down information. If you wanted to write that, you could. I'm going to save your hand some work. Okay, once we wrote down our information, the first thing we thought about was this here. What did we have to figure out first about the paint and the gallons? Abby, what did we have to figure out first?
How much we needed.
First, we needed to figure out how many gallons of each color we needed. Let's start there. First, we needed to know how many gallons we needed. Give you about 10 more seconds to write that down. If you finish writing, think about what we could say next. All right, so first we needed to know how many gallons we needed. All right, and we figured out that even though the yellow is on 2 walls, we could still use 1 gallon to paint both. So however you want to say that, that was a long sentence, you can shorten that up. So we need to mention something about knowing that even though yellow was 2 walls, we still had enough paint in 1 gallon. So I will say even painting yellow on 2 walls, or painting 2 walls yellow, even painting 2 walls yellow will only need 1 gallon. And then I'm going to say $12 times 3 gallons is $36. Randy had $40, so he can afford the paint. I know I wrote fast, I just want to get out of your way so you guys can all copy that down, or if you've got your own words, feel free to use them.
Is that a 12 or a 2?
12 times 3 gallons is 36. That's a 2.
I bet he has $30.
I will leave that up there to keep copying down. I'm just going to move my paper up.
There's another.
All right, I'm going to get rid of this top part. Give you about 10 more seconds. People at home, if you need more time, you can always pause the video.
And we can't do that.
All right, if you are finished writing that down, flip your paper and start reading number 4 to yourself and thinking it through. We're going to read it together in just a moment. All right, most of you look ready to move on. Okay. Now this one's a long one, and it's probably going to be creative a little bit, okay? Math can be a bit creative. So first, please pay close attention to the top. I'm going to mark important stuff up as I read. So pencils in your hands, ready to go. Don't make me say it more than once. You all know the drill. Randy wants to paint his bathroom with the leftover paint. Okay, makes sense? Each wall in the bathroom takes 1/8 of a gallon of paint. That's important. It's a little different. The other walls, he needed 3/8 of a gallon of paint. So right next to that, I'm going to put one wall equals 1/8 gallon. That's good to know. And I definitely like looking at it like that better than in a sentence.
I'd rather have blue and red.
Each wall will be painted solid yellow, blue, or red. So that just means he's not mixing any colors on the walls. So each wall is painted solid yellow, blue, or red. At least 2 colors of paint will be used in the bathroom. Okay, so we have to use at least 2 colors. I'm going to write that here. At least 2 colors. Did it say we can't use more than 2?
Yeah.
No. Just says at least 2. So we can't use one color. And some of each color of paint should be remaining after painting the bathroom. That means I can't use the entire gallon of any color. That's pretty important. So we're at least going to want 1/8 of a gallon remaining in each gallon as we go. So I'm going to write that here too, actually. 1/8 in each gallon remains. All right, so we can't use all the paint up. So then our question down here wants us, I'm going to put this in a big box, describe 2 possible combinations of wall colors Randy could use in the bathroom for his 4 bathroom walls. Do you think there are lots of different options here? There are a lot of options here. You just have to pick 2 options that would work following all of this criteria, okay? So this is kind of like, I'm trying to remember what that problem was before, with the muffins and the donuts where we had to put together, like, you had to have so many treats and certain combinations, remember that? So it's like that, okay? So you could come up with lots of different ways to do this. So let's just try something, okay? That's honestly my first approach. You just try something. All right. We know we have got yellow, blue, and red paint. So I'm going to write my colors over here. Yellow, blue, red. Okay, if I have a gallon of each color, wait, actually, we're using the leftover paint, aren't we? So I need to think about from the last page. I'm going to have to look at your papers. So how much, we had one wall of, sorry guys, I wish I had all mine to work. One wall's red? Okay, so 3/8 of a gallon on red we've already used. So if we started with 8/8, we used 3/8, and now we've got 5/8 left. Okay, so write that down first. I got the 3/8 from the other side. Remember that told us how much we needed to use to paint the other rooms. Okay, blue, we also only painted one wall. So if our gallon is 8/8 full, we take away 3/8 to paint the wall on the front side of the page. We've got 5/8 left. And yellow, did we have to use more of the yellow paint than the other gallons?
Yes.
Because we painted 2 walls. So if I started with 8/8 of a gallon, a whole gallon, and I took away, does anyone remember how much we had to use of yellow?
6/8.
6/8, because it was 2 walls. We only have 2/8 left. All right. Now to paint one wall, we only need 1/8 of a gallon, but we can't empty the gallon. So could we still use yellow to paint one wall?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we'd still have 1/8 left. Do you guys want to make one wall yellow?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, wall number 1, we're going to make it yellow. Okay? Can we make 2 walls yellow, or would that use up too much paint?
Too much.
That would use up too much paint, because then we would only have 1/8 left and we'd be out of yellow. We can't run out. But we do have a lot of blue and red. Could I paint 2 walls,
Yep.
blue or red?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I use 2 walls blue, let's just try that and see. Remember, I'm just kind of guessing and checking as I go. If I painted 2 walls blue, each wall takes 1/8 of a gallon, so I'm taking my 5/8. Now I've got a minus 2/8 again to see what I've got. Whoop. 5/8 minus 2/8 is 3/8. So that's okay, that'll work. I still have 3/8 of paint. So I used yellow, I used blue. What about wall 4? I've got actually 2 choices at this point. Abby, what do you want to do? We could do another blue wall because we have 3/8, or we have plenty of red. Red? Okay. All right, that combination will work. Okay? That will work. So the red paint, we used 1/8 more gallon. Now we're down to 4/8 left. All right, so that was just kind of a guess and check. Now we're going to do it again. Same numbers, so I'm going to rewrite my paint again. My yellow, I've got 8/8. We only used 6/8 on the other side, so I've got...
But you used 7/8.
We're like starting over our whole thought.
This is here.
So I'm going to rewrite, you know how we started here talking about after the first side, how much paint he had left. So we've got yellow, we've got blue, we've got red. So right now I'm just restarting, thinking about how much paint we've got left from the front side. Whoops, I did that one wrong. Minus.
This is here.
1 second, Angie. Let me copy this so everyone else can write this down.
Is that we can
What if you don't have glue? I don't have enough glue.
You guys can stick it anywhere you want. Down around the bottom is fine. Like way down on the bottom under the lines. We're probably not even going to get to number 5, so you can use up that space. All right, so we can't do the same combo as before. So I can't have 2 blues, a yellow, and a red. It's still easiest for me to start with yellow. So I'm going to start with yellow again. If I used a yellow, we know in the bathroom it only takes 1/8. So if I take away 1/8 of the paint I've got left, I still have 1/8 in the can, which is part of our rules. Okay, I can't do 2 blue walls this time, but what could I do instead? Josiah?
2 red walls.
Let's do 2 red walls. So we're just kind of switching it. If I have 2 red walls, make sure I've got enough paint. I have 5/8 left in my gallon. I take out 2/8 since we did 2 walls, and I've got 3/8 left, so that works. And actually, we have 2 choices now. I've got enough paint left. I could do 1 more wall red and just have a 2-color bathroom, or we could do 1 wall blue. So I will let someone who's been listening choose for us. How is our bathroom going to look, Madeline?
Blue.
All right, we're going to add a blue. Let's make sure we had enough paint. Blue, I had 5/8 left. If I take 1/8 of a gallon away, I still have 4/8 left. So that will work. Okay. Now let me say this first. That is hard math, okay? That is really hard math.
Yes.
I'm really proud of you all just for trying it with me, okay? Now, I'm not trying to make you all freak out. When you take the iLearn test, all the problems are not like this, okay? But some of them will be, and I want you to at least know how to get started, okay? So we're going to keep practicing, but do you see how important it is to find your important information and write it to the sides and all that good stuff? So make sure when I'm showing you these strategies, you listen. Liam?
What was the exact question beyond the test?
No. This is all old practice stuff from years in the past, okay? All right. Any questions? Cadence. Well, they're really trying to challenge you, okay? So they don't expect you to get every question right on the test because some of them are really hard. But they do want to challenge you and push your brain to see, can they think about something this complicated? And a lot of you can, okay? You can. You just have to give it a try. Abby?
Has someone actually got all of the answers correct?
I'm sure it has happened, but it's rare. So that is not the goal for us, right? We just want to do our best. Noah?
Are we going to need this paper?
I'm going to tell you what to do with it in just a moment. Angie?
Are we going to do number 5?
We're not. All right, so friends at home, thank you for joining. I know this has been tricky, but thank you for doing your best. I'll see you soon.